Thank you so much for having us here. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk with you. And I want to take us back for just a moment to the great toilet paper debacle of 2020. Y'all remember that moment where we all went to the store thinking there were going to be full shelves of food, and there were not full shelves of food. And it was a really interesting moment because it kind of revealed how fragile our food system actually is and how vulnerable it is. And we're basically utterly dependent on getting our food from very far away. And we also send a lot of our locally grown food very far away. So it was just one example of that. About 90% of the seafood that's caught on the North Coast goes away. And about 90% of the seafood we eat here comes from somewhere else. And we think that doesn't make a lot of sense, actually. And so our mission at the North Coast Food Web is to build a local, resilient, and just food system. And we do that in a number of ways. We work directly with producers, and that means farmers, fishers, foragers, and also those people who make like salsa and bread and other like value-added products here locally. And then we work on getting their food directly into the hands of local consumers, and we have a particular focus on food access. So we have 5 programs that help to build that local food system. So the first one is that we have a commercial kitchen that operates as a business incubation program. So it is incredibly expensive to get a food producing business off the ground. You have to jump through all kinds of regulatory hoops, and the equipment in the kitchen itself is really expensive. And so we help those businesses get to the point where they have financial flow before they need to make those big investments, which has gotten in the last year 3 new food businesses off the ground in this area. We use that same kitchen to also partner with other organizations to be able to do cooking classes to meet their particular folks' needs. And so this year we are partnering with 2 of our local hospitals, and they're going to be doing cooking classes for cancer and diabetes patients and their caregivers so that they can actually get healthier in part by eating good food. We also provide food storage for producers. So a lot of our producers spend a lot of time driving their products around instead of farming, and we think that it's better to actually provide a central location for them to be able to bring a big batch of food all at once and then have it distributed from that central place. And then we do direct producer support. So farming is also really difficult, and so we provide education and direct technical support to all kinds of food businesses. And then finally, our flagship program is our online farmers market. So you can order food from local producers and be able to go pick up that food. And you can do that in the off season when our Sunday Astoria market and the other farmers markets in the area are not open. So our work's important for a number of reasons. One is that our food system is really fragile, and there could be any number of things that could cause that kind of disruption again. And so we're there to help make sure that the food system is going to be in better shape next time something like that happens. We also burn a lot of fossil fuels driving that food around and traveling all over the planet with it. And local food that is fresher is better for you than food that has been sitting in cans and on shipping containers for weeks, for months, sometimes for years before you eat it. It's been sitting somewhere and moving around somewhere in a can, and that's just healthier. But in a lot of ways, the most important thing is that our work's important because of food access. And a lot of our neighbors were already struggling, and that just got worse for us. So in February, the additional emergency SNAP benefits went away. And that means that a lot of our neighbors who were already struggling to feed themselves and their families, it just got worse. And we had one of our customers came to us and actually said she'd been waiting for 2 weeks to get her SNAP benefits to hit her card so she could go shopping, and she was shocked to discover that instead of the $100 and some she was expecting, she had $14 for 2 weeks of food. So just take that in for a second, what that would be like to try to feed your family on $14. So it's a really serious issue. And so what I'm asking for your support for is our food access program. So we're raising about $40,000 in 2023 for this program. And we already accept both SNAP and a program called Double Up Food Bucks, which for every dollar that somebody spends with their SNAP card, there's a program through the Oregon Food Bank that we partner with them on where up to $20 of fresh food gets matched. So they spend $20 of SNAP, they get $40 worth of food. So we already had those things, but those benefits actually only help people who qualify for SNAP. And there's many people in our community who are hungry but they don't qualify. And so our expanded food access program is going to include a few things. One, and there's details on your tables in those little blue and white handouts there. So one of them is a Spanish language initiative. There's a whole bunch of people in our community who can't interact with our system at all, and because they have a language barrier. And so we've got a multi-part Spanish language initiative that we're doing this year. The second one is direct outreach to senior centers and low-income housing facilities in town, just so that people know that these programs are available. And finally, most importantly, we're doing a free food box program this year, where we're literally going to pay our producers the full value for their food and turn around and hand that food directly to folks in our community who need it. And so those are the programs that I'm asking for your support for. And I do not envy you having to pick one of these groups. So we are grateful for, if we're not the organization that gets voted up tonight, we're grateful if you can toss us $20 here and there over the course of the next year. We would be incredibly grateful. Thank you so much.
Questions?
How does somebody find out about you that is got food insecurity?
Yeah, so folks, so this is a good question. It's part of why we're doing this program. So the question was, how do people find out about us? So a lot of people find us online. They go searching for a food bank, and we're one of the things that, we're not a food bank, but it's one of the things that pop up. But part of why we're doing this targeted outreach is a lot of people don't find out about us. They don't know to search for food web. And so actually getting out and doing active outreach in the community, both in Spanish and English, is part of what we're trying to do this year. So going to community events, connecting with other organizations in town, that's what the outreach project is going to be about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know like you all used to go into the schools. Do you still do that?
We're not actually doing a schools program right now. So North Coast Food Web has actually done, we've been around for about 11 years. We've done lots of different things over the years, and that's one of the programs that we're actually not currently doing.
Did you say how many employees you have?
Yeah, we actually, today I hired number 7, actually. Very exciting. Yeah, so we have, and it's about half full-time and half part-time folks.
Because a lot of the people I think that you're trying to, that would need your help, maybe don't have computers.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And they
So,
don't have
yeah.
internet access.
Yeah. So one of the details
So
that you'll
this is
see on
good.
that sheet is that one of the things that we're doing with that outreach program is actually going out and training folks in like the senior centers and the other low income housing projects to be able to help people do orders, because if you don't have internet access, you can't do the online farmers market. You can still drop by if you know it exists and get a free food box with the program, but you wouldn't actually know how to be able, and won't be able to access that. So it's one of the things, we have serious barriers to people being able to do this, and so we're trying to really concretely address those barriers this year and shifting up our programming a little bit. Yeah.
I know you used to do delivery. Is that?
Yeah, so delivery is one of the things we think, so the staff has been trying to figure out how to do delivery. It was one of those programs that lost money, and so we're trying to figure out how to make that work. And so it is our intention to be restarting delivery in the next couple of months. And it's free for people on staff. She just told me to stop.